And we're live. I have a
That's
topic I could use
tooth
Kyle's
research.
expertise on. Kyle, are you ready?
Hang on.
Oh, I literally thought his video was frozen for a second there. He wasn't moving at all.
I'm ready.
All right. I don't know what he did there, but
I
I'm kind
prepared
of
myself.
Yeah,
All right.
charge up.
So this is a story that's getting attention here in Raleigh. On New Year's Eve, for midnight, people were firing their guns into the air like it's flippin' Iraq or something.
It's legal.
And
Shouldn't be.
that
New Year's.
surprises me. Well, anyway, you know how in New York they drop the big ball?
Sure do.
In Raleigh, you probably didn't know, they have a cheesy version of it where they drop an acorn.
We dropped
And-
the peach here.
Oh, okay. So anyway, this UNC student, cute thing, got shot. Someone fired their gun in the air, and according to the guys at the barbershop, it hit her chest, it damaged her belly, and rested in her hip somewhere.
Okay.
And it's first of all, there was a debate in the barbershop about how far away the guy was, because I thought it was a couple miles away. By the way, handgun, that's important. And then they started saying stuff that just couldn't seem. They're like, the higher up you point the gun, the less distance it goes. And I'm like, that
That's
doesn't
right.
seem right. Well, if you wanted the gun to go a little farther, you'd point it a little up, right?
No, not past 45 degrees.
Right. Then you and I are on the same team, because he was acting like the farthest way to get the bullet to travel would be straight and level. And I'm like, well, no, you got to give it from what I know.
45-degree
a
angle
slight
is the
arc.
most is the farthest you can get the object to go.
Well, that's what I was. Okay, so we agree on that. But he acted like every inch over level was making it not go as far. So let's say, hypothetically, that they shot it at 45 degrees. How fast does it decline? Like, if I dropped a bullet off of a tall building, I wouldn't expect
That's
it to
different.
really hurt someone.
It won't hurt someone. There's a formula for how fast objects accelerate. It's like, I'm not going to attempt to remember it, but there is one.
Mhm.
And
It's speed times fastness
it's
multiplied by gumption.
and there's
How much the object wants to go further.
and multiplied by how many drinks you've had that eve. But there's a few things that factor into that. For one thing, the weight of the bullet's kind of important, and also how what the bullet's shaped like. But it has a maximum velocity that it's going to fall due to gravity. If you could drop it from not space, because that's a little different, because there's no air resistance up there.
You
so
can drop
gets
it
up-
almost in space.
It'll literally burn itself up in the atmosphere. It's going so goddamn fast. But you could drop it from 5,000 feet, 10,000 feet, and it's going to be going at its terminal velocity.
Now, if
It's
I
gonna
shoot it straight up, then that would be the same as dropping it from a building.
totally, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, straight up. If it goes straight up and it goes up and then it goes, whoop, and then it starts falling right back down, then it's not going to hurt anybody. It's going to it's going to be like, ow, what was that? That aches a little. But if you've shot the thing at an angle, then it's carrying some of the velocity that it was fired with at the end. And it really depends on the angle that it's fired at, how far it's going to go and how much energy it's going to carry. And, obviously what was its original velocity.
So I don't
when it
expect
was
you to
fired.
get this super accurate.
Exact.
But
right,
let's say
yeah.
that I shoot a full size 9mm at a 45. Roughly, how far do you think that bullet goes?
Shit.
Because I was like 2 miles, and they're like,
No,
no
more than that.
way. No way it could go that far. They were talking
More
about
than that?
half a block. And I'm like, half a block?
No, it's probably going. I've seen warnings about 22s that say 7 miles.
Okay.
What?
Shit, I honestly don't know I'll say this: I've taken my 45 and shot 500, 600 yards is 1,800, 600 yards, and hit the target. It's a large target, about the size of the bed of a pickup truck. If you stood it up, I can hit that at 600 yards with a handgun, and I'm not aiming that crazy high. I'm aiming way up above it with my 45 caliber pistol, but that's a subsonic heavy round.
How many yards is a mile? Like 1,400?
So it'd be 5,500
Like,
divided by
it's
3.
It's 5,280, right? Is a
It's
mile?
5,280
Yeah,
feet a mile.
5,280. So
1760.
okay.
Yeah. So a third of a mile there, and I'm not even aiming that high up.
Right.
I would guess that a 9mm is probably going up. I don't know, 4 miles.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
5 miles.
The-
I really don't know the answer.
I was vastly outnumbered, like
Crazy.
3-1 in the barbershop today, with my estimate of far over half a block. And they're like, nah. And I'm like, but like, I get that there's more of you, but
Next time, look, pull up one of Jerry Mikulik's videos or 22 Plinkster's videos of them shooting fucking handguns at 500 yards and hitting targets, and be like, this is a third of a mile that they're shooting right here.
And that's I would say, as like someone who doesn't know anything about guns, I semi understand the position of the guys in the barbershop, because that's about how far I would guess that like at a high angle it would go, is like 400 or 500 yards.
It
Like,
depends on the angle, you know. Like once you get above 45,
start to shorten
then it's then you start to shorten it.
Right.
And
we've all thrown baseballs. Like, we kind of, Taylor, you might not know you muted.
Yeah, sorry. What's the safest way to fire a gun recklessly into the air?
Straight up, I guess.
straight up. And I believe that it's legal to fire guns in most places on 4th of July and New Year's.
I would recommend to our listeners that you do your own research.
Yeah, do a
Don't-
quick Google search on that. You'll probably get some the correct answers. But yeah,
don't do that.
straight up is safe in my opinion. The problem with straight up, especially when
Really?
you're drinking though, is you might be off a little. And you don't have to be off that much to fire a bullet a couple miles away that's still carrying enough energy to at the very least put somebody's goddamn eye out if they're the most unlucky person in the world, right? Like it's
They
it's
fired
reckless.
a gun in the general direction of downtown Raleigh, the place where people assemble to watch the acorn drop. I wonder if it
When-
was intentional. There are no
when we did
suspects.
that video, the 40mm machine gun, the Bofors anti-aircraft gun that I'm
Mhm.
sitting in, the one that's in a lot of memes now,
Mhm.
that thing did this thing where you have to hang. There's a crank that you crank like this to like raise, to elevate and lower the barrel of that thing. And the guy taught me how to use this thing in literally 10 minutes. That was my training course. And then it's go time. So like he showed me how to do it, but he didn't tell me while you're firing, hold on to that, because the gun will start making that spin backwards, and the barrel will just rise slightly. You know, it's like not hanging on to a gun. He didn't tell me that. I figured you locked this cannon in and started shooting, and it did its thing. But when I started shooting, the barrel goes boom, 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 boom. And like the last shot, like the first shot hits the target, the second shot hits 10 feet high, the third shot hits a tree and blows it the fuck in half, and like the fourth or fifth shot just goes. And I finished, and you know, I pretend like I'm fine with everything that just happened. I'm like, that was pretty cool, huh? Just shot everywhere, destroyed target, very good. But you know, they were like, all right, cut. And I'm just like, where did that bullet go? Where did it go? And the guy goes, oh, about 7 miles that way. And I'm like, what, 7 miles that way?
Right.
Horse farm. And I was like, a horse farm? Are we talking about like the glue factory? Or are we talking about some Kentucky purebreds?
No, it's actually, I think it's a petting zoo with horses. I don't remember.
That's the cancer.
No, that's really a children's hospital with a petting zoo.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's so yeah. It's not something that you don't do it. You know, that's
Right.
the real answer to that
That's a smart
question.
move.
I feel pretty confident that I could shoot a gun straight up in the air and nobody would ever get hurt. But I'm not going to tell you to ever fucking do it, because if you do it wrong, you might shoot somebody, and you don't want that. And
Yeah.
and,
That's on
and
you.
you know, shoot the ground. Just shoot the ground.
Or
That
if
to
you're
me is safe.
drinking, keep
Get
the
a
guns
target.
in the safe.
Yeah, alcohol and guns don't mix at all. I've never had any amount of alcohol and messed with a gun. I've hunted with people who are having beers, but like it's that's on them for one thing. So I don't give a shit. I feel safe sitting next to them while they're drinking beers. You know,
Right.
I'm not condoning what they're doing, and I'm not responsible for what they're doing. You know, we're in a field shooting doves. It's a hot summer day. It's not a high tempo shooting activity. It's like, oh, here he
Right.
comes. You know, I don't care if you have a few beers, especially if it's a grown ass man who
I never said
regularly
anything,
drinks beers.
but I used to go off-roading with people that drank beers. And
Yeah.
in some cases,
No, that's common.
too many beers. Like,
Mhm.
more than a case. And
Actually, the other night, like, continue. Sorry.
by like afternoon, it seemed dangerous. Like I felt like I had to take extra precautions to keep myself safe because the shit, like anything could happen. They're drinking and driving.
Yeah, it's dangerous. And some people can handle it and some people can't. That's the other thing. It's like some people get.
Who handles a
and you know-
case?
Some people can handle it. It depends on the period of time that they're drinking it or whatever. And you know, it's not the sort of thing that you can even really talk about publicly. I feel like no drinking and driving is acceptable. However, I think we can all admit that there are some dudes out there that probably have a 6-pack and then guzzle a 6-pack, hop in their car, and pass any sort of driving test you want them to pass.
This is the official stance of the PKA that we're okay with it as long as you're cool. If you're a fucking loser, no, get back in the house, you drunk idiot. If you're confident, you got some swagger as you stumble out to your car, getting ready to go get some Cheetos. As long as you're cool. That's what Kyle's saying. Kyle means as long as you're cool, go hog wild. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. I have never drank and drive. I never would drink and drive because you're taking not only your own life in your hands, but everyone else on the road. It's one of the most despicable things that I can think of, especially if you're talking about despicable things that I find despicable that some people find to be casual, right? I find drinking and driving to be a very despicable thing to do.
Here's a good question. What's something that other people find despicable that you're more like,
oh,
come on?
Oh, like fucking somebody else's wife or like cheating on your
knew
spouse.
I was like adultery. And
Yeah.
then he goes straight to fucking someone else's wife.
It's like two individuals were like, hey, how about we only fuck each other? Yeah. Pinky swear? Pinky swear. And then you're like, fuck that pinky swear. and then people are like, oh my God, I think less of you as a man now. I think you're an animal. Maybe you should be put down like one. It's like, nah, come on.
You're like, yes, I'm an
somebody
animal.
Else. Like
I put it 80% on her in that situation.
It's an indictment of how hot that chick was. Is what it is, you know?